Good morning, everybody. It's time to get up. It's college game day. Oh, there's only 2 left after today, or actually 1 more after today. They are at the Rose Bowl, and they're going to do some predictions for the remaining bowl games today. I thought I'd capture that because I've pretty much done a lot of these all year. What I've done, put a compilation together, and if I can do it right, I'm going to put them all together because it's one of my favorite things every year. College game day is fantastic. I never miss it. Whether I'm at work or home, I always take a look in on it. So they're at the Rose Bowl today. They're going to give the predictions of the upcoming, basically the games starting now. We're going to get started with the New Year's 6 games. For those that don't know, the New Year's 6 bowl games are the real big ones. The Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Outback Bowl, Citrus Bowl, that kind of stuff. So let's check and see what the crew's gonna, who they think's gonna win, and then I'll give my ideas of who I think's gonna win, and then we'll have a fun day. Here we go.
Wyoming in the last 2 games outscored their opponents 84-15. That means they're hot.
About that.
I'm going with the Wyoming.
Yeah, the Barstool Sports Bowl. What a matchup. You know, if Toledo had their quarterback, I think you have an opportunity to see Toledo maybe upset the last game of Craig Bowl. But I'm going to go with Craig Bowl. That team will really rise.
It's so weird without the big crowd behind him and their signs.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, it was good.
He was a great guy.
Yeah, great hair.
Yeah, really good, yeah. I saw that. Some of the questions you applied.
You still want
Music City Bowl coming up, another SEC Big Ten game. It'll be 2 o'clock Eastern on ABC, Auburn, Maryland.
Because Maryland's not going to have their quarterback, I'm going to go with Auburn.
Yeah, I think Auburn coming off of that Gravedigger play, 4th and goal,
Yeah.
31. Yeah. I feel like a lot to draw from, a lot to pull from, especially first-year coaching at a place. So going into the offseason, I think Auburn gets a big win. Auburn runs the win and covers. That's the big one.
And it's basically going to be a home game for Auburn there in Nashville. You know, I think Auburn's defense, the special teams, get some turnovers against an inexperienced quarterback. I think Auburn's speed, there will be a big difference in the game.
All the way across the board.
Yeah,
Same here. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Penn State's had some opt-outs, including Owen Fashanu, breaking this morning. Ole Miss and Penn State coming up as soon as we're done.
Yeah, Lane joined the show earlier, and it was he was funny, he was loose, he seemed like he was very confident. So I'm going to go with the Rebels over the Nittany Lions.
James Franklin has a better bowl record than Lane Kiffin has, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I did not expect that. No offense, James Franklin. I just thought Lane Kiffin, with a lot of time to prepare, would maybe get his squad to go. I think he does well today. I think Ole Miss wins today, and I think Penn State puts up a good one. I think this is going to be a great game. And Ole Miss is 10-2 right now. With this win, they get 11 win, like you mentioned it.
Yeah.
129 years of football.
Wow.
129.
That's impressive.
Ole Miss winner.
I'm going to go with Penn State.
Oh, wow.
Penn State outright.
Yeah.
I think just watching the team there, I think this is, just because you have opt-outs doesn't mean you can't go out and still compete. I think it's an opportunity for young guys to show what they can do. I think Drew Aller has a big day today throwing the football.
Wow. If Ole Miss wins this game,
Yeah.
preseason top 5.
Wow.
I think there'll be a preseason top 5.
Lane Juice would be on a tear.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Capital One Orange Bowl. Steve has picked Florida State outright. No, we just took the 20 points. Florida State and Georgia, 88%. That's a surprisingly low number. Picking Georgia. Who have you got?
You know, Florida State, I think, is going to be motivated, but they're not just going to have the talent and the numbers to stay 4 quarters with Georgia. It may be closer than experts think, but I go Bulldogs.
Sounds like Des just said Florida State covers here, is what I just heard there from you. And I think that's probably accurate. I think Georgia gets up big. I think we see some 3rd and 4th stringers out of the Georgia Bulldogs, and I think they are playing for a lot. Give me the Bulldogs. I played at Florida State. I coached at Florida State. So Florida State covers.
Florida State, I think we're all kind of seeing the same thing. I think the will of this team, even with backups, showing up with a chip on their shoulder, I think we all respect and understand that's who they're going to be. It's just, do they have enough pieces to win the game? I think it's competitive, but I think Georgia will win.
Once again, Florida State, college game day. Look, we did it.
Yeah.
We pulled this off. I think everybody would be very impressed.
Yeah.
everybody will be very impressed. Yeah, they're going in.
Come on, Florida State. You got to beat Georgia.
Well, chance. Hey, look, they have, like we've said earlier, they have a right to be upset. They've had a wonderful season, and boy, would they love to put a stake in the ground by knocking off Georgia.
Who better to beat than a two-time defending champion?
It's been a rating. You can't believe the job that Alex did to let us pull this off in the middle of this rainy morning.
Very true.
Shout out to them and our appreciation as always.
Absolutely.
Back on New Year's morning for more College Game Day. Get ready for a day of football now.
Here we go.
Penn State's defense
Oh, here's pressure.
is as good as it's been.
That's just how Sherbury counts the offense.
Touchdown! Oh, man. Welcome, everyone, to Atlanta, the place that many people consider to be the epicenter of college football and home to the College Football Hall of Fame. Welcome, everyone, to the Ram Trucks kickoff and the first ever meeting between the Rebels and the Nittany Lions under the roof here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. An intriguing matchup.
All right, so Herb Street, Corso, and the crew have all given their predictions. Here's mine. Here's I think who's going to take these first couple games. I know they're going to do it again. I think they said, my dumbass forgot. I think it's tomorrow. They'll be back on tomorrow for the playoff. Or no, I'm not sorry, not tomorrow. New Year's Day. There's a lot of. Hold on, the lighting's all effed up. There we go. The New Year's Day is big games. New Year's Day, but for today, because actually Sunday falls. Our New Year's Eve falls on Sunday, which is great because that's the NFL. They're obviously not moving the NFL around for college, so things are, for at least this year, how it should be. Meaning, you got some of the big games today, and then no games tomorrow, and then all of the big games on New Year's Day, which is how it freaking should be. I hate when they did the playoff games on like the 29th, the 30th, or even New Year's Eve. Like, damn it, that's not, like, play that shit on New Year's Day. That's how tradition goes. So anyway, today's game slate has Ole Miss and Penn State in the Peach Bowl, which is just getting started. I'm going to take Ole Miss on that one. I think they're going to overpower Penn State. Penn State's a great team, don't get me wrong, but, you know, Ole Miss, they had a hell of a season this year. And I think that SEC dominance, you know, the Big Ten has a hard time with that. You know, would it be nice for the Big Ten to win? Yeah, absolutely. You know, being a Boilermaker fan, but I don't see Penn State getting over Ole Miss. So I'm taking Ole Miss on that one. Auburn, Maryland. Maryland, you got to watch out for. They are a very strange team. You know, and Auburn had that huge giveaway against Alabama when they should have beat Alabama, which would have kept Alabama out of the college football playoff for sure. That game just, it pissed me off. But Auburn gave that one up. So I'm going to take Maryland over Auburn. And then the big one at 4 o'clock, the Capital One, or I'm sorry, the Auburn-Maryland game is the Music City Bowl. And then the one of the big bowl game later on today is the Capital One Orange Bowl, formerly FedEx Orange Bowl, formerly the Orange Bowl. Or I think it was the Florida Orange Bowl or Miami Orange Bowl, but before corporate sponsors had to spew their feces all over everything, I think it was just it was like the Florida, no, it was the Miami, I think it was the Miami Orange Bowl, something like that, because I remember it used to be the Florida Citrus Bowl, long before, again, corporate sponsors got into works, and I think it was either just the Orange or the Miami Orange Bowl, one of the two, but that's one of the big bowl games. Orange Bowl, actually, for those that remember, 80s and 90s, even probably before that, the Orange Bowl used to be the last bowl game played on New Year's Day, and they always had the badass halftime show. That was always it. Oh, we got to watch the Orange Bowl for their halftime show. Now it's the Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl has the last game on New Year's Day at about 8 or 8:30 at night. So anyway, you got Georgia and Florida State in the Orange Bowl. I'm sorry, Florida State got Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kiloed on that whole deal, on on that whole deal, no way should have Alabama gotten in. When you go, how do you take a team that goes undefeated, wins their conference no less, and then they're like, yeah, sorry, that's not good enough. We're going to let a one-loss team in. And the only excuse is they don't have their quarterback. Come on, man. Don't give me that shit. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl with the backup quarterback. So they used that damn excuse just to sneak Alabama in because there would have been no SEC teams this year. And that would have been like the first time since the college football playoff was started that there wouldn't have been an SEC team. And guess what? That's okay. I don't give a shit. They can stay out for a year. But they had to get them in there. And I feel bad for all the kids, the fans of Florida State. They did. They got a Foxtrot uniform Charlie kiloed on that deal. There's no other way around it. You cannot sit there and tell me that they didn't earn that. They fell along the ranks of the UCFs, the Boise States, all the rest of the teams that have gone undefeated, including, Liberty? I think Liberty State, one of them, small school's going to play Oregon on New Year's Day in one of the big bowls. Again, there's another one, undefeated. And they go, oh, strength of schedule. Who cares? You never know. You really don't. You never know in this kind of stuff. Look at, I keep going back to Appalachian State, They toppled Michigan in Ann Arbor on national TV during opening week of college football back in, I think it was 2007. There's always a chance. So to sit there and deny these smaller schools, especially, a shot at a national championship is stupid. UCF actually crowned themselves national champions a couple years ago because of that, getting, screwed out of that. And interestingly enough, they were the only team in the entire NCAA that have an undefeated record because they beat, I think it was Oklahoma or Auburn in their bowl game. And they crowned themselves national championships, as they should have done. It was unofficially, but hey, they earned it. So, here we go again. And I just feel like, this has been the story ever since that college football playoff got put into place. We thought the BCS was terrible because Boise State got screwed out of the BCS countless times, all because, again, same situation. Boise State had one of the longest winning streaks in college football history. Like, it went on for almost 3 years, and they still didn't get in. And then UCF comes along a couple years later when the college football playoff is intact, and same thing, they get screwed out of spots because of bullshit politics. Meanwhile, you got 1 and 2 loss teams jumping over them, getting into that. It's so freaking moronic. So yeah, this year, I hope Florida State goes out and just wipes the floor with Georgia. During the pregame picks, they all picked Georgia. And what's sad is because of the dynamics of that game and that dumbass transfer portal, which I cannot stand. I think personally, and I'm going off topic for a second, but because we had this happen with Purdue last year before they played in the Citrus Bowl against LSU, all of their good players left. Like, the coach left, the quarterback left, the wide receivers left, the running backs left. There was only like 1 or 2 players that stuck around. I think one was Payne Durham and the other one was Maccabee. But that was it. Everything else is like a 3rd and 4th string player. And you're taking 3 and 4 stringers going up against LSU. I mean, come on. What do you think's going to happen? So this year, same thing. A lot of the Georgia players, a lot of Florida State players just went to hell with it. We're not playing in that. And went off to the NFL draft. So, a lot of the teams aren't playing. Now, teams that have junior players on them, that could happen. They could get a full team from the year. But I just feel like this, I understand being pissed off, but still, go out there and make a statement. I remember back, this was before a lot of this transfer portal shit, but back in 1998, Purdue went to their 2nd Alamo Bowl in a row, and they drew Kansas State. And Kansas State had a phenomenal year that year, and they got ousted out of one of the major bowl games and got pushed into the Alamo Bowl to play Purdue. Well, K-State, they were ranked number 3 in the nation at the time, And they kept saying, we don't belong here. This isn't for us. We belong in a bigger bowl game. And all this time, Purdue's just getting disrespected about how they're going to play a team that doesn't belong there. And Purdue doesn't have a chance. And this is going to be a joke of a game. Well, that was one of Drew Brees' first years. And Purdue ended up winning against Kansas State in the last couple seconds. I'll never forget. Brees to Isaac Jones with about 15 seconds left. And Purdue ended up winning that game. And they upset. That was one of the biggest upsets at the time. You know, Purdue at the time, I believe, was unranked. Because they were like 7 or 8-4, I think it was. Something like that. And K-State had 1 loss and ranked 3rd in the nation. So, yeah, that was a huge win. So you never know. You got to play the game. And it's not the national championship, but it's still the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl is a big deal. That's a big win, you know? That's a New Year's 6th game. That's all this stuff. So for a lot of the players, just to cop out, be like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I don't know. I feel like some of that's on them, but also I get it. You know, you want to play in the NFL. But also, what's one more game to go out and show people what you can do? You know, what you're made of. So that's how I feel about it. But next year, we'll see what happens. All this nonsense, you know, hopefully will come to an end because we're going to go to a 12-team format, and somebody had put up a mock playoff if it would have been this year, and you know, teams like Florida State and Liberty and some of the other ones would have been in it. And I hope the 12-team format helps with some of this. I really do. And it has to be. If you win your conference, you're in, especially in the Power Fives. You know, if you're in the Power Five and you win your conference, you're in. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. So you got 5 Power Five winners, and then you got 7 at-large teams that you could throw in some wild cards. You know, and I think they have it set where the top, like 3 or 4 teams will get a first-round bye, and then the top 5 to 7 will get a second-round bye, and then 8 and below will have the first round. So basically, it'll be like 3 or 4 weeks of football, if I'm thinking of that right. And what's interesting, too, is they're going to start this pretty much right after the conference championships, or right after an Army-Navy. So it's going to be conference championships if they still have them. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But I'm not sure if they're going to do conference championships or if they're just going to go play an extra game in the season, and then each conference is going to be rated, you know, 1 through whatever, and the top 2, you know, will either play off, or whoever's number 1 at the end of the season is the winner. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but it's going to be play till the end of the season, which is basically right after Thanksgiving, and then you got the Army-Navy game, that's never going to change. And so it looks like the following week, right after Army-Navy, is when the first round of bowl games will start. That will include the playoff teams, because they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to play, like I said, 3 or 4 weeks to go through this. So it'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And I think in time, the 12 will go to 16. 16 will probably go to 20. And eventually you'll have a 24-team playoff. Or the 25s. If you're in the top 25 in the country, you're going to a bowl. Or you're going to play for the national title. I mean, it's very simple. It's going to turn into what March Madness is. Now, I don't think they could do a field of 64 like they do, or 68 now, because football is so damn physical. That would be, you know, what, 5 or 6 games back to back to back, plus your regular season. I mean, I don't know. That'd be a lot. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the field of 12 next year and to see where this goes. And I hope some small schools get in, because that's what makes it exciting. We all know the Georgias and the Alabamas and Michigan, Ohio State, all of them. They're, you know, unless they have an unusually shitty season, most of the time they're going to be in it. But it's the small schools. It's like in Hoosiers, it's the Hickories that, you know, that you love to cheer for. Same thing with college basketball. You know, when little Butler from Indianapolis almost won the national title. You know, they fell to Duke by just 1 or 2 points the first year. Had a bad second year, but still, for a tiny school like that to make it to the national title game, that's a big deal. And so I think the same thing can happen in football if they give them the right chance. So with all that, my prediction is going to be, Florida State is going to just destroy Georgia. That's my prediction. So I got Ole Miss, then we got Maryland, and then we got Florida State. And there's one more, I believe, which is tonight. It's the Barstool Arizona Sports Bowl. It's Toledo and Wyoming. For that one, I like Toledo. The Toledo Rockets, again, you can't write them off, man. They've come very close to upsetting some teams before, and they have upset some big Power 5 teams. So they're good. They're really good. So I got Toledo over Wyoming. We'll see how this plays out. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Have a fantastic college football bowl game Saturday.
Everybody's arms up, kid. It's the burnout round. What are you doing? Chair. Crescent. Chair. Go spin your arms in a minute straight in your life. You know why? Because that camera's on you. Crescent. Chair. Crescent. Chair. Crescent. Chair. Crescent. Chair. 5 more seconds. Crescent. Chair. Crescent. Chair. Do it all the way over on the side. Into that runner stretch. And then come on up the side too. Back to center. Drop the knees. In profile. Take care of the spine. We just jumped up and down with weights in our hands. So let's take care of our spine. Very fragile. Like what we do is inhale that.
So I'm going to come up a little bit shy on my prediction. So far, I'm pretty spot on. I did call the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss did beat Penn State. Maryland just smacked Auburn like 31-13. This one I'm a little off on. I mean, look at the yards. 201 rushing yards to 57. I feel bad for Florida State, though. They are, not that anything is an excuse, but they showed a list of everybody that went off to the draft. They're missing like 3/4 of their team. I mean, they literally everybody out there for Florida State is like second, third, and fourth string. So, they're trying to do their best. But I get it. It's a mindset. But you don't want to go out and have that happen. I mean, the third quarter just started, and Georgia's setting up again. I guess Florida State could come back and win this, which would be probably the all-time greatest comeback ever. But we'll see. I feel bad for Florida State. I really do. I mean, they get bumped out of and then, see, that's the thing, though, is people are going to go, well, see, they didn't belong there. Yeah, well, they're missing a small detail. They're missing 75% of their team, or their starters, I should say. So this is very tough to gauge. It definitely doesn't reflect the season they had at all. That's why this game sucks. I was hoping it was going to go the other way. But, oh well. We'll finish it out here. We'll see. I mean, you never know. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings last year, as we know, made the largest comeback in NFL history. Now, granted, Indianapolis hadn't quite gotten to the 40s, but it was like 36-3 when the Vikings... Oh, jeez. Maybe I take back what I said. But the Vikings came back and scored almost all those points in the fourth quarter. So, all it takes is one. You get one score, and then, it's 49-10, then 17, then 24, 31. That's a big hill. 42 would have been doable. This makes it pretty tough. But you never know, man. You just keep playing. You keep playing till that clock hits 00. All right, quick idea. I just thought of this. Where they're building these new apartments by us is right where you can see the fireworks from Magic Kingdom, because as the crow flies, they're only about 5 or 6 miles from Magic Kingdom right now. So I'm gonna drive out there, and I just looked at the time. They're gonna do the Fantasy in the Sky fireworks at 6:30. So I'm gonna drive out there and see if we can't see them. And they're live streaming, so we'll do the audio and everything and see what we can see. Let's go. Happy New Year's Eve. Look at the delay. It's like a 30-second delay between the live stream and the actual fireworks. Well, here we are, New Year's Eve. I just got done with the fireworks over there at there's a new housing addition going up, and there's not a lot of construction there and not a lot of trees, so you can see pretty well from there. And again, it's all about perspective, depends on where you park. Where I was at, it wasn't bad, but if I were to go back a little farther, you'd actually see probably a lot more. But yeah, it's so cool though to be able to see that. And if I had a way up on top of my roof, you'd see them easy. So yeah, we're not that far away at all, which is really cool when you think about it. So what are we gonna talk about this evening? I think I'm gonna kind of give you some ideas of what direction I'm gonna take the channel in the coming year. I was gonna wait till tomorrow to do a year-end vlog, but I really want to be out and about tomorrow. Today I took a day off, just kind of rested, got my workout in, had to run to the store, grab some things for tomorrow. Basically got everything I needed done, and that way tomorrow and New Year's Day and even the day after could just kind of take a break. So I thought, because my original plan was to be at Epcot tonight, but I'm like, yeah, no, we'll just stay at home. And plus, traffic sucks right now. Oh my gosh, there's just people everywhere. I want to say, thank you all for your support. I really appreciate it. I really do. We're a growing channel. This, as they say, Rome was not built in a day, and it takes time. Everybody that I've talked to or listened to, I've got some coworkers that have YouTube channels. Some of them do very well. It's good money on the side. I've even listened to some other vloggers out there that, have started off and it took them so long to get going. And then once they just hit that one thing, and it just propels them forward, So I just know we keep doing our thing, it'll work. It's just, it's a trial and error, Like I said, for me, I have nobody helping me do this. I'm literally just scripting this off the top of my head every day. I come up with an idea of what I want to do, but the stuff that I talk about is literally just, I don't write this down the day before. I don't do anything. I just go and start talking, and I do that well. I enjoy doing that. Like right now, this is literally, as it comes into my mind, it's coming out of my mouth. So yeah, I like doing that, but because I like to be creative in that way. A lot of these channels, sometimes these really big ones, they got these, good grief, they got production crews, they got people that are writing their scripts for them. It's a full-on production. But here, it's me, the G7X, and yeah, anything that's behind me or whatever. That's it. Oh, one other thing that we have big coming up, hopefully next year about this time, Epic Universe. Oh my gosh, there was a vlog uploaded not too long ago. This was yesterday, I think it was. I saw it this morning. All the updates, basically the portals to the lands have their beacons on top, all with the exception of Super Nintendo Land. Oh my God, the progress, the concrete, the pavements being poured in different patterns. Like Starfall Racers and all the other roller coasters have been complete for some time, and there's been videos of some of the rides testing. I'm telling y'all, this place is going to be legit. When Epic Universe opens the gates for either pass holder previews or general previews, and then they finally do their grand opening, the general public is going to be blown away by what they see. This is going to be the new standard in theme parks and entertainment for this area. And if you all think I'm talking out of my ass, just wait. This is going to make Disney look stupid. The level of detail going into this place is unlike anything that people in the States have ever seen. Now, there's a few really cool detailed theme parks here in the States that are not Disney related, believe it or not. Universal is really stepping it up with this. Like this, a lot of people that are working on this design, and when I used to work at Universal, some of the what do you call it, team members there that would work out there, basically covering the construction workers out there, they all have said the same thing. This is going to be on the level of Tokyo Disney Sea, like that type of detail. And it really showed that when Disney got really stupid and decided to lay off all of their really, really talented Imagineers, guess what? Universal's like, come work for us. We'll take care of you. And it shows. When you let those type of people with that kind of imagination do their job, you get results like Epic Universe. I mean, that place, what I think is so cool about it is, yes, it has its intellectual property, like Harry, the new Wizarding World, Super Nintendo Land, How to Train Your Dragon, Universal Classic Monsters, but the center hub of Epic Universe, where you walk in, from where you walk in all the way through to where the hotel's going to sit on the back of the property, is not based off intellectual property at all. In fact, it's based off of astronomy. It's going to be called Celestial Park or something like that. And then the rides, the Constellation Carousel, Starfall Racers roller coaster, was it the Grand Helios Hotel, I think is what it's called. Don't quote me on that. I think that's the name. But just the theming, to make it after astronomy is just badass. And then when you go into these lands, basically the way it's being designed is you won't really see, you'll see the architecture and the structures poking up from each land, but you won't see them until you walk through each land's individual portal. And I just think like the design is absolutely incredible. It's genius. Like where Magic Kingdom, where you go to different lands and you just walk from one land to the next. This, you're going to go through these portals, and then you're going to be immersed into each land. And they're being designed so you really aren't going to see much outside of each land. Like, you're going to be there. And that's one thing Universal does very well. It's what Disney used to do, was called pay attention to sight lines. So when you're in the Wizarding World, you don't see the top of, let's say, the Men in Black building or the Simpsons ride. Or over in the Islands of Adventure, you don't see the Hulk roller coaster. The only two that kind of clash a little bit is where the Velocicoaster does its double loop back there. Basically, it makes a double turnaround. But that's it. But they even with that, they've put trees up now, and they've done their best to try to put a barrier up so you don't really see that. But Universal is just straight getting it, and it shows you the talent that these theme park designers have. In fact, it's something I would love to do. If I ever went back to architecture, I would go back and retake classes and become a theme park designer, because I love everything theme parks. It goes way back to my childhood, from theme parks to going to the fairs, the carnivals, everything that's got that kind of environment I've just really taken a liking to. And I think why I like it so much now, and why I like to share it with people, is it reminds me of my childhood and going with my family, my grandparents, and just loving every single minute of being there. And it's just such fun, fantastic memories. And that's one thing I'm very happy I get to do now. Because anytime I need, you feel down, or you feel even having a great day, you're like, let's go celebrate, let's go do something. And you go visit the theme parks. Go ride some rides, go do whatever. Walk around, grab something to eat, sit and people watch, go buy a souvenir, just go watch something being built, like with the Penguin construction. The Penguin roller coaster, Penguin Trek at SeaWorld. It's awesome watching that being built. Same with last year when they were building Pipeline. It's just so much fun. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I hope you all have enjoyed this. We'll see you tomorrow for a full day's worth of New Year's Eve vlogs. Again, happy New Year's Eve, and have yourself a fantastic weekend. Lots of good football on. The Cowboys just took a 7-3 lead over the Lions, and I definitely came up short in my football picks today. I missed I got the Ole Miss game right. That one I got right, and then I got the Maryland game right. Georgia and Florida State. Damn it. I really wanted Florida State I wanted them to have the same score Georgia had. 63-3. I felt bad. I mean, Florida State, they were decimated, though, when they found out they weren't going to the playoffs. Hell, half their kids, their players left, you know. So, basically playing third and fourth string against freaking Georgia, you know, who's just a powerhouse in and of itself. And it was just, that was a shitty game. You know, it just was. I don't know. I was hoping it somehow it'd be closer to what it was, but it just, you could just tell. Georgia came out there just ready to make a point. And the sad part is people say, well, see, Florida State didn't belong in the playoff. You can't base it on that because they showed, like, there was like 18 team members that went and declared themselves eligible for the NFL draft, and a bunch of others went to the transfer portal. So they literally had nobody left other than second, third, and fourth string players who hadn't really played a snap all year. And now you got to play Georgia in the Orange Bowl? Come on. What do you think's going to happen? That's going to be it's a horrible game. But anyway, hopefully tomorrow we got some great NFL games. Vikes play the Pack tomorrow night. Vikes have to win. They're now on the outside. They went from having the number 7 spot in the playoffs or they were 6 for a while. Then they went to 7. Now they're on the outside looking in. They're in the hunt category. So they have to beat Green Bay tomorrow. They beat Green Bay. Green Bay's out. Minnesota then has to hope for some help from all the other teams because let's say they win tomorrow, then they'll be 8-8. And then if the other 2 teams who are 8-7, if they lose, they're 8-8. And it all comes down to the last week. And then Minnesota, thank goodness, though, of some of the teams that are already in the 6 and 7 playoff brackets, the Vikings do own the tiebreaker over them. So that does help. So we'll see what happens, but damn it, Minnesota, all they had to do is beat Detroit last week, and they would have had a leg up on everybody. But no, and I get it, you know, they're struggling. They're doing the best of what they have. I mean, they lost Kirk Cousins right at the time when they were on like a 4-game winning streak. You know, they were just starting to everything was starting to fall together. They were kicking ass, and then they had to replace him, and then I think they got Nick Mullins. He got hurt like a couple plays in, and then Josh Dobbs comes in, wins like 1 or 2 games with them, keeps them going, but then he started sliding, so they put Mullins in. Mullins had a terrible game last weekend against Detroit, you know, so now it's going to be, I forget who it is. There's another guy that's going to be starting. So I just hope that, you know, they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with. I will say that, you know, they could have, when Cousins got hurt, they could have just packed it up and said, "Out of hell with it." But they're doing the best they can. And realistically, every game this year they've been within 7 points, same as last year. Only difference was last year they were 11-0 all season. They had the best record ever in the NFL in one-score games. They were 11 or 12-0. This year they're kind of split down the middle. But every game they've had has been a one-score game. So it's like they're so close to being really, really good. And I think had Cousins stayed healthy, along with Justin Jefferson and the rest of them, man, who knows what would have happened. But there's still time. They can still get in the playoffs. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and here's hoping. And I got my Vikings gear ready for tomorrow. So go Vikes. I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you're ready. Again, happy New Year's Eve. I will see you all tomorrow for New Year's Eve. Main Street Fire Rescue out of service. I'll see you, everybody.